The room looked shiny and polished, but something felt fake. It was a live TV interview, cameras rolling, audience clapping on cue, and a host with the kind of smile that hides sharp things underneath. Denzel Washington sat in the guest chair, calm as always, dressed in a clean black suit, his hands resting in his lap. The host leaned forward with a smirk, pretending to be casual but digging deep. "You ever feel like you're just there, poster boy?" he asked, with a grin that said he already knew the answer. The studio chuckled lightly. Denzel didn't. He didn't blink, just looked at him, then down briefly at the phone resting face up on the table. One missed call. No name, just a place. Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré. For a second, Denzel's face changed barely. A flicker in his eyes, a pause in his breath, but he said nothing. The audience was waiting. The host leaned in again, pushing the silence. "So," he said, smug and loud. Denzel looked at him, quiet, steady, his voice low, almost like he was talking to himself. "I used to, until today." You could hear the breath in the room shift. Someone in the back coughed. The host tried to laugh it off, but Denzel was already reaching for his phone. Slowly, without drama. His thumb hovered for a second. Then he stood. "We'll need a minute," he said, looking straight at the camera, not the host, not the crowd. The camera feed shook slightly as the director scrambled, and then just like that it cut to black. Backstage, away from the lights, Denzel sat alone with thoughts louder than the crowd outside. His mind drifted through years of quiet cuts and cold smiles, times when people clapped for him but never really listened. He remembered the comments that weren't said to hurt, but always did. "You're one of the good ones," they'd say, as if the rest weren't. "You speak so well," like that was a surprise. In meeting rooms, his ideas were trimmed down, his truths softened. Producers nodded politely, then sliced the real parts out of his roles. "Make it safer," they'd say. Less angry, more hopeful. Once, during filming, a nervous intern leaned in and whispered, "They told me not to light you too dark, sir." He didn't respond. What was there to say? Another time, a younger actor pulled him aside, trembling. They said, "If I act like you, I might get in." The boy looked proud and broken all at once. And then there was that fundraiser. Denzel wanted to support a school project in Africa. The answer from the board? Not marketable. Those two words stayed with him longer than applause ever had. He'd started to wonder if the whole system was built to smile in your face while pushing you down. Somewhere else, thousands of miles away, another man had no time for smiles. Ibrahim Traoré, in his dusty uniform, stood on rooftops, speaking truth without permission. Crowds gathered, villagers clapped, and in one rally, with sweat pouring down his face, he quoted a line from a Denzel film that no studio had wanted to keep in. "We were never meant to wait for justice. We were meant to fight for it." That moment exploded online across West Africa. As Denzel was being told to keep it light, Ibrahim was repeating his words through megaphones. "They didn't hire me to speak," Denzel whispered once, while staring at his own reflection. Just a smile. He started to feel like the world he lived in had been painted too neatly, with his face on the cover, but none of his truth inside. The day before the interview, something cracked. A phone recording leaked, studio producers joking during a private call. "Make sure we throw in something for the black crowd. Keep them happy." The clip spread fast. People were angry, some shocked. But Denzel wasn't. He had heard it all before, just never this loud. The screen flickered back to life, and the studio felt heavier than before. Denzel sat in the same seat, but something had shifted. His eyes were damp. Not from weakness, but from something deeper, something built over years of holding back. The host tried to steer things back, reaching for a safer question, but Denzel didn't let him. His voice was calm, no anger, no rush, just clear. "You asked if I feel like a poster," he said, staring straight ahead. "No, but I know what it's like to be painted." He didn't explain what that meant. He didn't need to. Then, with one hand, he tapped his phone and held it near the mic. A voice came through, low, steady, filled with quiet fire. It was Ibrahim Traoré. "They erased our heroes, Denzel, but they didn't erase you. What you said when they silenced you became scripture for the rest of us." The whole studio froze. You could hear the air conditioner hum. Behind the words, the narration took over, children in dusty schoolyards reenacting scenes from Denzel's movies. Not because of lights or money, but because those scenes made them feel alive, strong, real. They weren't copying a star. They were reaching for themselves. The host shifted in his seat, unsure, sweating lightly. He fumbled for words, made a weak joke, but no one laughed. The audience wasn't smiling anymore. Some looked down, others looked at Denzel like they were seeing him for the first time. "Every time I was told to quiet down," Denzel said softly, "someone out there turned the volume up. His name's Ibrahim." The host tried to move on, but his hands were shaking. The director waved, mouthed rapid, but no one cut the feed. This moment was too real to edit. Denzel looked into the camera, not with rage, not with pride, just truth. "If silence is the price of belonging," he said, "maybe I don't belong here anymore." After the interview, Denzel vanished from the spotlight. No follow-ups, no press tours, no more late-night appearances. but his silence only made the moment louder. That short clip of him playing the voicemail and speaking into the camera spread across the world like a match to dry leaves. Students across Africa held signs that read, "He spoke. We listened." Photos surfaced of classrooms watching the video, young boys and girls acting out his lines, not to entertain, but to feel like they mattered. Ibrahim posted a single photo, him standing in front of a chalkboard with Denzel's face drawn on it, captioned, "He spoke. We listened." Back in Hollywood, things cracked. The host's show was pulled pending review, though everyone knew it wasn't coming back. Old emails, leaked racist jokes, marketing plans that treated black stories like tools, not truth. The studio's apology was cold and careful, the kind that tries not to say too much. No one bought it. The host, now out of work, tried to attend a big gala. A camera caught him being stopped at the door. He argued, then quietly left. That night, he sat alone at home, scrolling through messages from old contacts. None were answered. One came from his daughter. "You okay, Dad?" He didn't reply. He just stared at the screen, then at himself in the mirror, trying to find the person he thought he was. Somewhere else, far from all that noise, Denzel stood alone on a balcony. The sun was dropping behind the buildings. Everything was quiet. A little girl walking by looked up and smiled. "My brother started acting because of you," she said softly. Denzel looked down and gave a small smile. Tell him the world's his stage now. And that was it. No speeches, no headlines. Just the truth hanging in the air like the last line of a story. He never needed applause, just for someone to hear him. And finally, someone did. Across oceans, across borders, across time. The screen faded to black with white text. "You don't have to be loud to start a revolution, just honest." Ibrahim